What's up, guys? Haven't made a video in a while of my server closet here. Couple changes in the last 6 months since I've shown this. I'll go over them real quick. Here's a quick one I can go over. I had a Nighthawk R7000. I ended up replacing that with this. This is the Linksys EA8500. I don't think it's their top of the line, but it's pretty high end. It's normally like retails at $250. I bought this for $130 refurbished. Works well. I'm getting like the max speed from my bedroom, which is like the farthest point in the house. So my house is pretty small, so I didn't really need this. I just kind of wanted to upgrade and take my old one and replace the one at my sister's house. She had another AC router, the Asus AC66U. Actually, hers was the R model, the one from Best Buy. I think R is for retail, and U is what you'd get like if you bought off Newegg or Amazon. And the problem with that is it has like those, like the early versions of that, and I bought that one pretty early, I think, had bad flash memory. And you can even go in the logs. I was running DDWRT, but I think even on the regular logs you can, because it's just part of Linux's dmessage. It'll show there's ECC errors and stuff. So there's like stuff wrong with the like corruption going on in the flash. I guess that's pretty common. And there was 2 times out of the last few years where I would turn it off, and then when I turn it back on, it would stop responding. And basically you couldn't even get to the web UI, and like it would have an IP, but like I think it was like a recovery operating system, like the OS chip got, I don't know, like it wouldn't boot or something. So there was one time when I first bought it and it shipped to my house and it didn't work, so I used like the Asus recovery. I didn't think of anything at the time, and then when I was messing around with some stuff with my sister's, I tried to connect to it and it stopped working after like I powered it off once. So that's enough for me. I'm just gonna end up selling it. So, and I'll just put on there that it likely has bad flash. So just keep that in mind, and you might have to use the Asus tool to recover it or whatever. It actually just uses TFTP to do it. So the second time I just used TFTP from the Linux computer and was able to send a new DDWRT image to it. Anyway, this is my EA8500 running DDWRT. I really recommend this one. I was looking into getting the Nighthawk. I think it's not 7000, it's 7500, version 2 or something like that. The issue with that, this one actually has 2x4 radios that are better than they're identical to the x4 in the R7500 version 2, but that one has one of the x4, and then it has like a lower spec x3. So this one actually has 2 of the x2s, and it has better DDWRT support as of 2 months ago when I bought it. So I recommend this one. I think you can get it for about the same price. If you look around, you can get it for $130 to $150. So it's pretty sweet. I don't know how I'm going to benchmark it. I guess I could do local speed tests, but internet wise, I'm always maxing my internet, so that's always the bottleneck in this case. For my phone or my laptop, I'm always getting like 150, 170 anywhere in my house, unless the internet's slower that day. So anyway, this thing's pretty sweet, running DWRT. Runs well. Alright, so now let me show the other upgrade in here. Okay, so this is a Xeon, this is my web server. You can see I had to do some hardware work. This is kind of ridiculous. This is two different, this one's really bad. I mean, I kind of regret this. I kind of wish I bought a new panel and just had a different solution for this, but this was kind of like, I had to do it at the time because this was the only heatsink I had, and it was kind of like overheating. Well, this one was also overheating to the point where it was beeping every once in a while, and I think it's the Supermicro motherboard saying that the CPU is over like 95 degrees Celsius, which is pretty hot. Like, you don't want to be running that high. What's weird is I had an i7 in here before. It was a different motherboard, and that one didn't run that hot, but that was a low voltage i7. It was the 3770S, and the S was like it would like clock down more. But this is a Xeon V2, I think, 1230 V2, and it was overheating a couple times a week, I'd say. So sometimes I'd leave this closet door open, but I found a better solution. I instead of this stock Intel heatsink, I got a Cooler Master, kind of like the one in here, but that's like the Hyper 212 or whatever, right? I got a better solution though. Cooler Master makes another one that's like shorter height. If I only had that one for here, I think it might be able to fit, but basically this is, I think it's like T4. It's not as good as the Hyper 212, but it, you know, for crappy cases like this, I could have just bought a better case. It fits well. Now the problem was it would not, I could force this thing on, but then it would sometimes hit it, and it's kind of uncomfortable with doing that all the time. So what I ended up doing was putting that in there, and instead of this thing running at 95C, it's now running around 60, 50 to 60. As you can tell, geez, the flash might ruin this, but now you can tell there. Let me run it again. It's going to be even lower now because the case is open, but 60, even with the door closed. I don't think I've ever seen it hit 70. And I've been running this for a couple weeks now. I actually even I had a case fan in there, but I changed the way the airflow was. I had it blowing inwards because that's the only way I could get that fan mounted correctly, was on the inside of the case was blowing inwards, which didn't make sense because and then the PSU is pushing out. So I realized that there's actually a slot for air to come in from this side. So I have a small 80 millimeter in here pushing in, this one pushing there, and now this thing runs, I mean, cool. I mean, 60 is fine. Probably uses a little bit more energy than before because you're running, it's the same amount of fans, and this one's actually running slower probably than the CPU fan before, which was probably maxing out. And the other benefit is now this fan right here kind of cross cools those NVMe chips, and those are SM95 951s. They're Samsung 951, the NVMe editions. Those two right there. The last one's a network card, but those two right there. So kind of getting some cross cooling. And an issue with those guys is they'll overheat and they won't push their full speed. Though I doubt I'm pushing full speed. It's more about latency with them because pretty much what they're running is a database. Let me get this guy back on without breaking anything. I'll probably have to do this after the video because I need two hands. But basically, it fits well now, and you just slide it in. So that's there. I fixed the cooling issue there by just basically using some shears, like some decent shears, and a file. And that fits on there. I could have just gotten a different case, but I needed a case that's really short to get two of them in here. So, like really short height-wise, like towers. Probably could have had a different solution that solved this, but that worked without spending much money. I got these for like, I think $10 after rebate. It was on sale. All right, let me show one last thing. So the other thing, I don't know if I showed this before, but I showed before that I had a direct connection between this and this. Basically, my web server does most of the processing and stuff. This is my FreeNAS. You know, it does some media stuff, but it also has an NFS share that this guy uses for files, because this has like, I don't know, 16 terabytes on it or something. 16 terabytes usable. So this guy doesn't really have anything except the SSDs in there. There's two Intel SSDs. There's actually one in here that's hot swappable. So there's two Intels and then the two NVMEs that are used for like the database. So the two Intels are used for the operating system. So what I have now is these guys access this for its storage for NFS. It basically uses that for OwnCloud's file storage, and also for, I run an NZB indexer, so it needs space to put like movie covers, like basically images that are associated with the NZBs, and also the NZBs themselves are stored. That takes like, you know, a couple dozen gigs, not a huge amount, but the OwnCloud storage you need a lot because my family's always uploading pictures constantly. I'm probably using about 250 gigs right now, mostly pictures. So what I had before was I had a direct connection between this and this. They both just have an IP that this one's like 10.0.0.1, this one's 10.0.0.2, and I had a single cable. What I ended up changing this to was both of these are Supermicro motherboards with two NICs, and then they both have two additional NIC slots from a network card. And what I did was with the network cards, which are the faster of the two, I have a direct connection between them. and I'm using the round robin protocol, which is one of the LAG, LAGG, which is like link aggregation something. It's in the it's a FreeBSD driver to do link aggregation. So basically I have two of these, I think it's these two right here, connect to this guy, and they're both just, this is using round robin, so if it'll accept any packet on either side and then just throw them in there. And there's no issue with ordering because it's always coming from the same host, so that's not an issue with like packet ordering. Now let me show you. So in practice what that is it's a round robin connected with two ports, theoretical 2 gigabits per second. I'll show you what the actual is. Unfortunately it's not 2 gigs, but okay, let's do from the web server. We'll do iPerf and we'll do receive, and then we'll send from the FreeNAS. So you can see it's about 1 gigabit, so that would almost make you think that it's not doing the link aggregation properly. But I think I'm not sure exactly what it is. The FreeNAS does have a weaker CPU. I actually did upgrade it recently. This has an i3. I don't think it's CPU though, because I've been doing benchmark with the CPU, while checking the CPU. It wasn't that. I think it might just be that this is based on FreeBSD 9 and the driver might not be as good for those NICs or for lag itself. And I have a feeling that once I upgrade this to FreeBSD 10, or this is FreeNAS, but once it has a FreeBSD 10 kernel, it might perform the same as this. Because I noticed pushing, it gets about 10, right? But then watch this. Actually, I should run the server on this side. So now I'm going to push the other way. I'm pushing from the web server to the FreeNAS. So this is pushing from the web server to the FreeNAS over the same exact link. It's just the other direction. There you get about the 2 gig. I mean, obviously you're getting over 1 gig. You're getting 1.67 gigabits per second. So pretty close. I've seen higher. Let's try it again. So decent. And I didn't even tune the iPerf command. I mean, you can change like the sizes and everything. So yeah, 1.6. So that's about what you're getting. So you can tell it's using more than one. And if you check the CPU usage, it's not really going high, but one direction I always get closer to 2, and then the other direction I always get about 1. So I don't know what's going on with that. And you'll even notice it with NFS. So now let's see, from the web server, if I have to do it from this guy. So this is, I gotta change the user. I'm doing this with one hand, sorry, so. Okay, so this right now, this is my files directory, which is actually an NFS mount. I'm gonna, oh man, do I know this off the top of my head? I would run a DD command, but I don't know off the top of my head. Whatever, it's like DD input file, output file, and then size. I'll just tell you my results. Not as good as actually seeing it, but basically writing to that NFS share, I can write at 2 gigs per second consistently. So that is in concert, that shows that the web server is pushing 2 gigs to here, and this guy can receive it at 2 gigs per second. So it's crazy that it can write at 2 gigs per second, so the full link speed. But then when I read a file, it's always about 1 gig per second or slower. It'll be 600 megabits per second even. So something about reading is slower, which doesn't make sense. But at least I can write fast. Reading isn't terribly slow. So yeah, so that's an interesting benchmark there. So yeah, basically that's how I'm doing a 2 gigabit link using round robin, using 2 FreeBSD based servers, and it works well. I mean, not much lag from my own cloud. I might do an update to my own cloud performance video because I found some other things that you can use to increase performance using own cloud. My own cloud flies like it's like. I mean, it rarely lags, and I have encryption enabled, so sometimes if you're uploading large files, it has to do that, all the encrypting for it. But like the web interface and syncing a bunch of small files, it just goes. I mean, it goes as fast as your link speed. So, yeah. Anyway, that was a long video. That's pretty much everything I wanted to show for now. So, see you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the video.